Alright, today gonna work on hijack versus cutoff, 3-bet pot. Um, just get into it. This. Actually I'll play the hand. But basically on the 2-10 boards, size down to half on like the low disconnected ones. Nines should bet mostly with the suit. On the turn, kind of 90, we have a check back with nines. The queen is not the best card for us. Good river, obviously, for nines. I don't know how much sense it makes to have like a bet, check, bet, over bet range. So I think most of our range wants to bet normal size. So, I mean, it is like, yeah, it is using some bigger sizes. But basically what I'm thinking is that on the turn, all of our good hands are basically betting. We're betting the turn actually quite a lot. I thought the queen was not as good of a card as this is basically saying. And 9-9 with a spade. So yeah, like nines with overall are like the one, nines, tens are like the one kind of hand that checks. Some merging going on though, like betting nines, certain suits likes betting. Out of position should bet river pretty. Wow, I was gonna say pretty often because when we check back on the queen, we caps, but it looks like they don't really even bet that much, which is kind of surprising. Figured if they have like, I guess they don't really have that many hands that want to bet. Like if they have a queen, that's pretty much the only strong value hand they're gonna have. Or if they have a set, that's like most of our range. If we face a bet, is gonna be a call. I was gonna say it's gonna be a call, but I guess we do have like the traps. We do bluff whatever versus blocked. But I kind of thought that our range is more or less a lot of jacks, tens, nines. Curious if the river was like a card that doesn't really hit us, how the strategy shifts. Position gets to do a little bit more probing. The 9, 10, and jack are just pretty good rivers for in position. This river is set a lot. Yeah, if you face a check, I guess we can just go pretty big because they're not gonna really. If they do have like sevens or something, they're gonna jam anyways. Oh wow, sevens just check calls. It's pretty crazy. I'd be pretty sick if I overbet and then just got check called. I guess we are repping more or less like nines or a bluff. Anyways, too much time spent on this hand. It's an interesting one though. I think with a 1 we can go for a check raise. Just go with a smaller size. And then mostly shutting down, I think on turns with this hand, unless we get like a 5, 6, spade maybe. Check fold. Okay, prefers a bigger size in the flop. I usually default to the like small one, but yeah, like overall in this spot, I think the small one is more prevalent. No, it looks like big one's actually a little bit more used. But either way, somewhere in between, like 3x their bet is like gonna be totally fine. This hand is mostly gonna be a check fold. I think like not the worst board, not like king 8 deuce. Then we have more of a check fold. Actually, looks like we continue a bit more than I thought. The type positions like the under pairs, they tend to do a lot of folding, but it's a pretty dry board. We don't have a ton of stuff to continue with. So this board though, I think, man, versus 20%, pretty close. I think I'm gonna call versus 20%. Yeah, so I would have folded versus 1/3. I think. I thought just versus 20, it's very close. But yeah, like even a pair like tens or nines that does have some back doors is just folding. Hand like sevens with that like very clean set outs. It's just folding. It's folding 50% versus 20% pot is shows how bad the board is for us. Monotone boards, I mean, I usually just go pretty small. I think this one we could maybe have some size ups. I'm just gonna bet third. Or like third or whatever is fine. If it's check back, I think like pretty much makes sense to overbet or check here. Like we don't really want to bet small too much of anything. Trying to think if there's any merit to like check raising this hand, maybe, but I don't really think so. And then river will probably check call versus normal sizes, and then versus like huge sizes, maybe do something else. Okay, ace queen. I think here we have to be continuing, basically just like nut no pair, have like backdoors, and maybe prefer to call this over a hand like pocket nines or pocket fours or something. A pretty decent turn for us, but we'll just check fold ace queen, obviously. I mean, with 89, I guess I'll just check back. I think like betting is fine, and then with a pretty low number, I think maybe starting to bet is okay. This should be a pretty good turn for them, though. Should kind of like checking back his hand again. Yeah. I kind of got caught up with the RNG and trying to play like well, which is okay. I think betting this hand like 12% of the time, or probably bet it before like a 30 or something. But their probe frequency should be pretty high, I would think. Okay, and then when they do check, most of them have the ace of spades. Yeah. Not it's gonna worry too much about that one. Some pretty easy range bet. So maybe I wonder if this hand wants to go bigger. Turn is interesting. We should have like more ace queen in these positions because we have ace queen offsuit. They don't call that. I'm gonna barrel. I like to barrel these like pocket pairs. Man, we get donked into. I think fold now. Could jam or something maybe, but yeah, not really finding the jam versus dog too often. I suspect the turn is like pretty good for us, yeah, just because they don't have as much ace queen. Jack's like pretty neutral. The best cards are like bricks. A flop. Okay, we want to go smaller. So yeah, like some of these boards that I think is like a good exploit. You can go pretty small and people might not fold pocket pairs, and then you just barrel turn and then pretty much like get them to overfold. They're also not gonna like check raise enough, so a pretty good exploit. I think this board like third or half is okay. I'm gonna go half. Be a little careful on the turn, barreling with flush draws. Although I don't think the check raise frequency on this turn is super high. Check back with a 90. Pretty bad suits to like raise river, or blockers to raise river. I think our river raises maybe more come from like in maybe like ace 4, like a weak pair that probably like ace high, maybe some king highs that don't have like no spades. River bluffers, ace 4, ace 3, some ace highs. Okay. Let's keep it going. So I think in the tighter positions, like these overpairs don't want to always bet, but when we have 2, we're gonna bet. Pretty good turn for out of position. So we face donk, which makes some sense. So you have a call or maybe raise, but I'm gonna call. And then pretty clear check back on river. Yes, the flop is still checking back pretty often. I think a lot of people just bet jacks here every time. It's not the worst, but be a little bit of a frequency mistake. Here, when we have both suits, it's good. I'm gonna check back. Call most turn probes. Definitely call 1/3. River's pretty good for out of position. Like, they're gonna have queen jack, jack 10. They got fold river. Pretty close though. Raising turn's also a play. This one seems pretty close. Seems like a call, raise, fold type of hand. I'm gonna fold. Yeah, like, pretty weak though. You roll a 99. Do 10s always want to raise. I feel like 8s always want to raise. Maybe 10s we can slow play sometimes. Could be a mistake. I think raising's obviously going to be, like, if I'm trying not to make any mistakes, I would raise, because raising's definitely going to be a thing. But I will go for the call. Now on the turn, it's very tempting to raise. We also roll high again, though. I just don't see how we don't raise turn, though. Double flush draw board. Pretty painful. We don't have spades, or like we unblocked some of their bluffs. We really just want to be jamming though. Yeah, the turn we just check jam, which I was kind of tempted to do. That might be like too big, but it's pretty good. A smaller base side board, and then barrel turn. Should probably can go bigger on the turn. River. I mean, they don't have. We have the ace of hearts, which is good. I'm gonna check back, I think, but it's pretty close. Maybe that's just a good check back. Flop is already wanting to go half, which is kind of weird. Would not expect it. Maybe something with just like ace king, which if that's the case, I'm not really gonna do. Yeah, I would. So this board's actually kind of interesting. It's not a range bet. Actually, do want to like check back. They have a lot of the 3s and 4s and 5s, deuces, or whatever that has equity. And we like have a lot of kings through 10s that wants to check. I think if you like go 20%, maybe you can range bet. But like, let's say we go 3rd and then we get the 10. Yeah, kind of weird. It wants to go half as opposed to like a bigger size, like more standard size. As far as half, we put 4s and deuces in a little bit more awkward of a spot. That's about all I can think of. 10's not the best card. We're gonna range bet, not the best hand to bet. Bet. I don't have to fold to the big raise. Again, I think betting. So blunder apparently. I feel like our bet frequency should still be pretty high on this board. Like, so this is kind of surprising. So maybe in this spot, I mean, it's not a spot really I've studied, like specifically like hijack versus cutoff. But what boards are we checking a lot on? I mean, like the low connected ones, okay, those are obvious. Something like King 10-9, like this is a surprising one. It's only half. But like Ace 8-4, Ace 10-7. In Ace 4 deuce, we saw Ace 10 deuce. So like specifically like some ace high. Some like ace high boards, Ace 10x seems like pretty good for out of position. I learned something at least from this. is that like some of the boards were out of position. It sets two pairs with an ace high, uh, making our like or our pocket pairs as cut off like weaker. We don't range bet. Nines can go for checkers or check call. We have this like similar spot with eights. Actually, like pretty similar board. Pretty close on this RNG. I think I'm gonna go with call though. Decent turn for out of position. Not gonna do any leading though. In the first half, we just have to call. Could actually raise maybe two. Would be kind of interesting. I feel like in game here, like raising small and then like jamming river is pretty cool. She might have been okay. I mean, I think it's check fold. Oh, it's kind of interesting what our best bluff catches should be. Having a spade might be better than having like a hand like king queen. Well, actually, I can fold turn, which is very surprising. Just have to fold. Okay. Hijack cutoff. 72%. Hands.